Welcome to this flying tour of the world of unreal estate, where money, ambition, and the lust for land in Los Angeles have created the wealthiest community in the world. Real estate agents call this the Platinum Triangle, and it began here in Beverly Hills, a city conjured from the desert by a group of oil and railroad men after they failed to find oil on an old Spanish colonial rancho. To get people to buy and build there, they erected this, the famous Beverly Hills Hotel. It was there that Douglas Fairbanks Jr. decided to sublet a smaller version of this house, later named Gray Hall, and owned by George Hamilton the actor, Mark Hughes of Herbalife, and the controversial Playboy financier Bernie Kornfeld. Linda and Stuart Resnick, the current owners of this house, are the controversial ones. They own Fiji Water and Palm Wonderful, but they're also derided as monopolists and social climbers. Aside from their chateau, built by a Spanish land grant family and then owned by the lawyer of Howard Hughes and Cecil B. DeMille, they've bought 3 adjacent lots, making their estate as impressive as their wealth. A few blocks away, the silent film comedian Harold Lloyd built another pleasure palace he called Green Acres. Years later, the property shrank, but it still attracted owners like the rap and movie mogul Ted Field, and now Ron Burkle, the billionaire and former first friend of Bill Clinton. Who could top Harold Lloyd? Only oil man Edward Doheny, who built Greystone for his son Ned, who never got to enjoy it. Right after moving in, he died under very mysterious circumstances. Nonetheless, his widow lived on there for years, remarrying and raising their children before downsizing, if you can call it that, to this house, the Knoll. It was later owned by the singer Kenny Rogers, the producer Dino De Laurentiis, and Marvin Davis, the owner of 20th Century Fox. When his widow could no longer afford it, she sold it to a hardware mogul who vowed to restore it and took it down to its studs to do that. Long before that, 2 copycat communities sprang up on another old rancho right nearby. This is Holmby Hills, created by 2 families whose members lived together in a sort of compound around the exclusive Los Angeles Country Club. Its centerpiece was this house, now called Owlwood, but once 3 separate estates that were home to Rudy Valley, Jane Mansfield, Tony Curtis, Sonny and Cher and David Geffen, Cher and Greg Allman, a movie mogul who had an affair with Marilyn Monroe in a guest house, an oil man, and 2 pornography kingpins. Today, it's all the property of the widow of the mortgage banker who pioneered the so-called liar loans that helped bring down the world economy. A few doors down, another Holmby family house is today the Playboy Mansion. And nearby is another family property, later the home of Bing Crosby and the right-wing king of Papermate pens and Schick razors. Aaron and Candy Spelling tore it down to build the mega mansion they called the Manor. The last of the 3 platinum communities is Bel Air, which oddly enough is where you'll find this house, the home of television's Beverly Hillbillies. It was built by an engineer who could never afford to move in. Nearby is the last stop on our tour, built during the Depression by a desperate social climber who ended up a suicide, then owned in turn by Conrad Hilton, the great-grandfather of Paris, the billionaire owner of Dole Foods, and now the man who walked away unscathed from the collapse of Global Crossing. Yes, he can still afford it. The rest of us can only look at it and dream. I'm Michael Gross, the author of Unreal Estate. To learn much, much more about these and more great estates, these not entirely enviable bedroom communities, and the city that surrounds them, pick up a copy of Unreal Estate in bookstores and online now.